What is up, everybody? Guess what? We're back. We're back to working on the Corvette. I know some of you guys have been anxiously awaiting for me to get back into this. I've been anxiously awaiting for me to get back into this because I want to get this thing running. Like, I love this car and it sucks not driving it, like really bad. I want to figure out what's wrong with it so we can get back on the road. You'll see, I've got it up on jack stands. So today, the thing I'm doing is I'm going to disconnect the catalytic converters and see if the car runs any better with those disconnected. It's something that I have long thought might be the issue. And honestly, I started it up a little bit ago just because I like to start it and it idles fine. And when I shut it off, you know that smell when a car drives by, or if you've owned a car and the cats are starting to be plugged? It smells kind of like that. So I'm hopeful that this is the solution to my Corvette problem, but we're gonna find out. If you guys haven't already, be sure to head down below, hit that subscribe button for me, like the video, leave a comment, share the video. All that stuff is super helpful and it allows me to continue making videos on my cars and doing the fun things like this. Then we're gonna crawl underneath and I'm gonna show you where these bolts are that we're gonna disconnect. It's 6 bolts, 3 per side. Should be pretty easy on my car. My car sat in a garage most of its life, never had snow or ice or the Midwest winters, so it should be in pretty decent shape, but we're gonna crawl under there and find out. And you guys that have been following me for a while, I use certain equipment when I do my videos. GoPros, Rode mics. I am using a new piece of equipment today. You'll see here a little microphone attached to my Rode wireless adapter. So hopefully the audio is coming through okay. It would make this much easier if I can just use this as opposed to having to have this big old microphone hanging off my shirt while I'm doing this video. So let me know how it sounds. Can you notice a difference? Does it sound good? Should I go back to the old way of just struggling with it? Let me know. And some exciting news. One of you viewers who also has a Corvette was able to get it running recently. Mr. Dean V, congratulations on getting your car running. I'm glad I could provide some videos to maybe help you figure that out. Hopefully I'll get mine figured out soon and I can enjoy it just like you guys get to. We're getting under the car and we're gonna get up in this area. But as I'm under here, I'm looking, I am going to, one of these days, douse this thing in Simple Green and I'm gonna pressure wash this thing. I know the OptiSpark's right up there and you don't want to get that wet and stuff, but at this point the car doesn't run anyway, so I've probably got nothing to lose, right? I might do that one of these days. But for now, like I said, I'm gonna drop those cats down. There's 3 bolts about right up here on each side. I'm gonna grab my impact wrench and sockets and knock those out really quick. Right here, there's 1, 2, and then on this other side is the 3rd bolt. They're 15 millimeters. So like I said, I'm just gonna grab my impact set here. I'm gonna grab a 15 millimeter, that extension, and there's my impact wrench right over there. I'm gonna come in here and try to get these out really quick. Hopefully not break anything, fingers crossed. But you know, at this point, we'll just see what happens. Impact wrench worked great. I've got those loosened. Now I'm just gonna finish taking them out, and then that part of the exhaust will drop there, and I'll slide over to the passenger side, do the same thing. Bolts out, or nuts, bolts off, I guess, nuts off. They're on the ground there. And like I said, that's the driver's side. So now we're gonna go to the passenger side. Take those nuts off the bolts over there too. So I've got the nuts off of both sides. You'll see there, but now it's being held up by something, so I'm gonna have to go back that way and probably drop the exhaust brackets like right there in the middle of the vehicle and maybe the ones towards the back to try to get this to drop down. Maybe I'll pry on it a little bit, see what happens. I might just pull the back bolts on the back of the catalytic converters off and just drop the cats right out instead of trying to drop that whole exhaust. That might be easier. So there's a bracket on the back of this, and I haven't looked at the other side yet, but this is the driver's side. This bracket's actually bolted to the transmission or the back of the engine up there. This looks super exciting. Sure you can see that. That thing is definitely corroded, but in order to do this, I'm gonna have to get those out of there because I don't think I can get up to the top of that at all. I can't even see where that bolt is up there. To be honest, to just unbolt the bracket, there it is right there. Oh, that looks exciting. That looks super fun. Oh, everything about this job just became super fun. So I have to pull that bracket off to do this. what I thought was gonna be super simple, 6 bolts. Like, I was like, super simple. This is gonna be easy. This is gonna be easy, guys. It's definitely not easy. My easy drop my cats down job may end up turning into a full exhaust replacement job. This looks terrible. So there is not much room right there. You can see the bolts up there. I don't know, I can't even, like right there. There's one on the outside, there's some ground straps, and there's a nut or a bolt behind it there as well. There is not much room here to turn a wrench, but that's what I've got to get out, because that's the bracket that it looks like is holding this exhaust up. So I'm gonna grab some wrenches and start going at that. Right up there in front of the catalytic converter where it connects to the manifold is the motor mount, which has like a heat shield around it, and you can see that thing is tore up, it is burned, it needs replaced as well. But at some point, I'm gonna have to find me some of those heat shield wrap things to replace the one that's on there, because that one is definitely not good. That also probably tells me that that O-ring that goes between the manifold and that downpipe right there is probably shot and leaking exhaust right onto that heat shield. So I'll have to order some O-rings too, and probably if there's one back here, that'll probably need replaced as well. I decided to get out the FSM here really quick and just take a look to see what I've got to do here. And it does show there's a brace on both sides of the vehicle here. It's called a TWC brace. 3-way converter brace is what that stands for. I know, because it says that right there. And it looks like it is just a stud on each side with a couple bolts on it. I do need to get in there and unbolt those to be able to drop that exhaust down. So that's what we're gonna be doing here in a moment. It gets worse, guys. It's gosh dang it. So you'll see, here's that TWC brace. This is the driver's side. So there's that one nut and stud assembly that I was able to see. Up further, where I couldn't see, there is a bolt. So we're gonna have to dig up in there, see if we can't find that. And then the driver's side has a little bit different situation. There's this brace, and then there's just 2 bolts on the back of it there, so that one should be a little bit easier to get off. It's just this driver's side one might be a little bit more involved than I had anticipated, but that's the fun of this enjoyment of working on these cars. Yeah, so that's pretty exciting, right? We get to do a lot more work than I had thought I was gonna be doing. I'm gonna crawl under there and start unbolting a bunch of stuff now. Hey guys, and look, Pip's here. Pip says, you better take a break, because this is going to be way harder than you thought it was going to be, huh, Pip? Yep, that's what Pip says. Look at him. He says break time. Yeah, so Pip and I are going to sit here and hang out and take a break and contemplate my life's choices as I get ready to dig into this entire exhaust system. Pip! What are we doing? We don't got time to take a break. What I feel like I'm gonna end up doing here is I'm gonna have to disconnect the catalytic converter from the exhaust pipe here. There's just not room to get up there, at least not any way I can find. I just did some Googling and stuff to try to see if anyone's attempted this, and I mean, people have attempted it. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get out some, I don't know, penetrating oil, spray these down really good on both sides and let it sit overnight. Because if I can get this disconnected here, I can slide the pipe back, I think, maybe. And then I can get up to those bolts through here. Because right now there's not much room to get through there. That's kind of the problem. There's just no room. I'm gonna probably have to order replacement bolts for these, because these things are pretty corroded and shot. And I'm not sure if they're gonna come out easily or if I'm just going to strip some bolts and get super frustrated. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spray them down, let them sit overnight, and I'm gonna come attack it again tomorrow morning to see if I can't get those busted loose, to maybe move that pipe so I can get up to the bracket there. And then that'll let me pull the cats out anyway, and if they are plugged, I can deal with that when I get to that point. You know, that passenger side looks a lot easier. It's just bolted on right there with like a band clamp to that cat. So that side will be a lot easier. I haven't looked at that bracket, but it should be right up there. Shouldn't be too much in the way in comparison to this side here. Okay, we've got that thing soaked down pretty good with some penetrating oil. Like I said, we're gonna let that sit overnight. We'll come back tomorrow and try to break those loose. So I've let these bolts sit for a few hours, and this one came off pretty easily, as that guy right there. I've got the one on the top. I wanted to kind of show you guys how I've got to get to it so you know. Here's my ratchet hanging from between the exhaust and the transmission. And up there, I don't know how well you can see this or if you can see it at all. I've got like a swivel and a socket, and that is how I was able to get up onto, shoot, that bolt up there. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I just wanted to show you that because the way to get to it again is just from the inside here with a swivel and a socket, and then that one's coming loose, and then I've just got this one stud on the bottom that I think that one's gonna be the stubborn one just because they usually are. But we'll see what happens. I did do just a really quick look online. I think in order to do this, I'm gonna have to pull this whole exhaust off, which means I've gotta pull that guy off there, there's a bracket there, there's another bracket back there, and then the muffler hangers. Otherwise, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to separate this enough to check these cats out or drop them out of the way, but we'll see. There it is, guys, with a lot of penetrating oil and a lot of patience. We're able to unbolt that flange. But like I said, still can't move this exhaust pipe, so we're gonna have to unbolt the other side, gonna have to unbolt the clamps underneath. We're gonna have to drop this entire exhaust just so I can check out my cats. And honestly, after doing all of this work, maybe I'll just delete the cats. The back of the cat on the passenger side is just a band clamp right there. It's a 15mm nut. We're just loosening that, and we'll take that band clamp off, and then we'll come back to right in front of this resonator. There's another clamp here. It's like a spring clamp. I'll get a light up there so you can see that a little bit better here in a second. But there's just a bolt right there, a spring, and then that comes undone. There's another one of those back there a little further, and then we're on to the muffler hangers. Fortunately for me, my band clamp is loosening pretty easily. Then I'll just spread it apart using like a pry bar, a screwdriver or something right there, but then we'll just be able to slide that back out of the way. I believe those are a 13mm for anyone wondering that. I'll find out here for sure. Once you get the bolt popped out, you just slide this little tab off. It's kind of it connects right here. It's this guy here. Slide it off, that spring will kind of slide up and around just like that. So now those are both off. Again, the same thing right back there is what we're gonna do. I know Genius was a little worried about me needing to put down my moving blanket here in case I need to take a nap, so I got one out. That too, and then when the exhaust drops, I don't damage my chrome tips. But every once in a while, you just need to take a nap. Back here, you get a better idea of how these spring straps work. You can see there's a spring. It's attached to a bracket up above, and then it's just bolted onto this bracket down below the exhaust. And then that's how it works on both sides. On this part of the exhaust, which is right before the rear axle, as well as that exhaust bracket that was up in front of that resonator right there. Just unbolt those, take those bolts out, and then you just pop them off the side there. Just like the front ones, those are now disconnected, and the only thing holding this exhaust up still are the muffler brackets on the back, which we're gonna go back and slide those off really quick. I've got muffler deletes on my car. So instead of having the muffler here, I've got the chambered, I don't know, muffler delete, and the bracket attaches to the same bracket that the muffler did. You can't slide it off there because this exhaust is on here tight up against the front still. So we're just gonna unbolt it right here, and there'll be one of those on both sides. We'll unbolt, and then that should allow us to drop this exhaust down and pull it back off of the cats. With this turning into a way more involved process, I also jacked up the rear of the car, put some jack stands under there, so that way I had more room to get under this thing. The nuts on this are a 13mm for anyone wondering. I'm pretty sure that's the OE size for these, plus those hangers on the rest of that exhaust up there. What I'm going to attempt to do is just loosen these brackets enough that it'll allow me to slide the exhaust and see if I can slide it back towards the back of the car to get it off of the pipes at the front, which will let the front drop, and then I can just pull the exhaust forward. That might work. I'm gonna try it and find out. Where's Pip at? I could use a brake right now. I do have one bolt or one nut off of each side now. I'll be honest, these are kind of a pain in the butt, And I don't know if it's just because I have these muffler deletes on. Honestly, I think it'd be harder with mufflers because the mufflers come all the way out here. But like this one on this side, you can't get a socket really on it. Maybe I could now because it was too deep, but now I've got it off a little bit. I could probably get a socket on there, and same with that side. So I'm gonna grab the socket, ratchet, try to pull those off. I tried pulling the exhaust backwards to see if that would come off. It didn't work. There's just not enough room up here for this part to slide back without hitting things. So we're gonna finish pulling those brackets off, and then hopefully the exhaust will just drop off and I'll get to removing the cats. I've got the exhaust hangers out. The exhaust is hanging down. It's still attached up at the front. It's probably where that band clamp was. So I'm gonna go up there and wrestle with that a little bit so that I can get this exhaust dropped out. I mean, it's ready to come out now except for being held on at the front still. It's coming off, but it is from where that band clamp was on that exhaust. That's kind of still holding it on there because it clamps down that exhaust over the other pipe. So I'm at the back, I'm just kind of wiggling it back and forth and sliding it off there, and it's about off as you can see, so it should be off here in just a second. And then we'll be able to get up in here, take these bolts off, holding these cats on, and that'll be the full exhaust removal other than manifolds, and you guys will know how to do that now. So that's pretty exciting. Like I said, I didn't see very many videos showing how to do this process, so I definitely wanted to make a video to show you guys this. Once the exhaust is off, that's basically what you do to remove the exhaust if you want to put like a catback system on, true dual, whatever. I am going to continue to go forward because I need to pull my cats off, make sure those aren't bad. And honestly, like I said, I'm already this far in. I might see if there's an exhaust shop that can just do like a cat delete pipe for me. All right, exhaust all the way down, so I'm gonna go ahead and just slide it on out to give me room under there and kind of show you guys what it looks like. But like I said, mine's got the muffler deletes. These things sound amazing. They're the Allen's chambered muffler deletes. If you're looking for something to give a nice deep rumble, this is it. There is the exhaust, catback exhaust on these C4 Corvettes. This is the LT1. So now, I said I'm gonna crawl under there and get these cats out, check them out, and we'll go from there. Well, sad to say, but this is about as far as I'm gonna get on this thing for the moment. The catalytic converter is gonna be a little bit more involved process as I figure out how to get to the top bolt on that. But I am gonna go ahead and put together a video showing how to remove the exhaust, the catback exhaust on this thing, because there's a lot of people that probably swap out the exhaust on these, do a catback system. So the first part of this video that I just made, everything I'll put together for you guys will show how to remove that and make it much easier because I couldn't find anything when I was trying to do it. Hopefully that helps. If you liked it, let me know down below. If it helped you, let me know. Be sure to subscribe. Leave some comments, like the video, and share my channel if you could. I'd appreciate that a ton. Help get my channel out there to people who might have C4 Corvettes or just like working on cars in general. Appreciate it, and until next time. Oh, Pip, me and your buddies, huh? We're just the buddies, yeah. We're just the buddies, huh? Just gonna hang out, not get the car done. We're gonna play instead, huh, buddy? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, yeah.